Welcome back, everyone. We're about to take a deep dive into a world of flavor Indian food culture.
And not just your typical takeout menu. We're going beyond butter chicken and naan, though those are delicious. We're talking about regional nuances, the history of spices.
We've got travel guides, cultural insights, even restaurant blogs.
Yeah, ready to unpack some serious foodie knowledge.
Absolutely. So, first things first, everyone talks about curry, but our sources suggest that's a massive oversimplification.
Oh yeah, curry is like saying all Italian food is just pasta. It's way more complex than that.
Okay, so help me out here. What's the real deal with spices in Indian food? It's not just about heat, right?
Right. It's about creating a balance, like a symphony of flavors. Each spice has its role, like some cool you down, some have medicinal properties, and of course some bring the heat. And every region uses spices differently.
Ooh, like regional dialects, but for spices. Okay, I'm hooked. Give me an example.
Well, our sources highlight this Bengali blend called Panchphoron, which literally means 5 spices.
5 spices.
Okay. Yeah, so we've got mustard, fenugreek, cumin, magella, and fennel seeds. All together, they create this unique aroma and taste.
See, I already busted those curry powder myths. So spices are the foundation. But what about the everyday foods, the staples?
That's where things get interesting, because in India, it's all about the north-south divide, even when it comes to what people eat every day.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So in the south, rice is king. But journey up north and you'll find a world of breads, all kinds of flatbreads, rotis, and parathas.
Oh, I love a good naan. Once had it fresh from the tandoor, that clay oven at this place downtown. Incredible.
There you go. And it's not just preference. Our sources suggest there's a geographical reason for this. You see, the South's wetter climate is ideal for growing rice, but the North, where wheat thrives, naturally leans towards bread. So the landscape itself shapes the cuisine.
Ooh, food tied to the land. I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, so geography influences taste, but there's something else that surprised me in our research. Vegetarianism. I always thought Indian food was all about meat curries.
It's definitely there, but you're right. Vegetarianism is huge in India. It's rooted in religion and economics. Many Hindus don't eat meat, and for many people, plant-based foods are more affordable.
So if meat's not always the star, what are the go-to vegetarian staples?
Lentils are absolutely essential. Dal, which is like a hearty lentil soup or stew, is at the heart of so many Indian meals. There are tons of variations, but it's always packed with flavor.
I love dal. I tried making it at home once. Didn't quite turn out like the restaurant version. What's the secret?
It's all about the technique in those spices. Toasting them just right to unlock the aroma is key, and you simmer the lentils till they're creamy. But yeah, every region has their own special dal recipe.
Okay, I'm taking notes. So lentils are huge, but there's something else our sources mentioned about them that I found fascinating.
Oh, yeah?
This suggested that the lack of cutlery in traditional Indian dining is actually because of dal. Think about it. Dal is perfect for scooping up with bread.
Exactly. It all comes back to that hand-to-food connection, which we'll get to in a bit. But yeah, it highlights how deeply intertwined Indian food culture is with its environment and history. It's not just what's on the plate, it's how you experience it.
That's so cool. Okay, so while vegetarian food is everywhere, there is meat in Indian cuisine, just with some conditions.
Yeah, you've got chicken, you've got mutton, but beef and pork, mostly off the menu.
Right, and our sources say that's because...
Religious beliefs play a big role. Hindus see cows as sacred, and Muslims don't eat pork. So those are big no-nos for a huge part of the population.
Gotcha. But wait, didn't our sources mention coastal areas were a bit different?
You're absolutely right. On the coasts, seafood is a big deal. It's all about fresh fish, shrimp, all that ocean goodness. Just another layer of the incredible diversity of Indian food across the country.
Okay, so we've covered spices, regional differences, the vegetarian factor, and meat with a twist. What else needs to be on our mental map of Indian food?
Well, get this. Mangoes are practically royalty in India. And I'm not just talking about eating them fresh. They're in everything.
Wait, seriously. Mangoes in everything. Do tell.
Oh, yeah. Pickles, chutneys, candies, you name it. They're even used in tributes and gifts. There's this special variety, the Alfonso mango, that's like the ultimate present.
Mangoes fit for a king, huh?
Yeah.
This is already blowing my mind.
Just wait, it gets even better. Remember that hand-to-food connection we mentioned earlier? Well, get ready for a truly immersive experience because in India, You eat with your hands. It's not just grabbing food, though. There's actual technique involved, a certain etiquette.
Oh, I was wondering about that. So it's not just a free-for-all. There are rules.
Definitely. For example, when you have rice and curry, you use your fingertips to mix it all up gently, forming a little ball that you scoop up with your thumb.
So it's almost like your hand becomes a utensil itself, crafting those perfect bites.
Exactly. And if you're having bread like naan or roti, you tear off a piece to use it to scoop the curry or dal. It's like an edible spoon.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this could be pretty elegant, actually. Efficient, too. But what about different textures? Is there a hand technique for everything?
There are definitely nuances depending on what you're eating, but the general idea is using your fingertips and thumb to work the food, make it into a cohesive bite that's easy to enjoy.
That makes sense. Our sources mention this idea that eating with your hands actually enhances the flavors. How does that work?
It's fascinating, right? The theory is that by engaging all your senses, touch, smell, taste, you're creating a more holistic experience.
I can see that. You're not just tasting it, you're feeling the texture, smelling all those aromas. It's like a full-body culinary adventure.
Exactly. And then there's the cultural side, too. In India, eating with your hands is seen as a way to really connect with your food, to appreciate it and respect the ingredients.
It's a beautiful tradition. But there's one thing our sources kept emphasizing. You only use your right hand for eating. Why is that?
The left hand is traditionally used for, well, hygiene and cleansing rituals, so it's considered disrespectful to use it for eating.
It's incredible how these cultural traditions are woven into everyday life. We've covered so much ground already, from those amazing spice blends to the art of eating with your hands. But what about the history of Indian cuisine? What influences have shaped it over time?
Ah, that's a whole other chapter. Our sources really dug into the impact of Mughal cuisine, which brought a whole new wave of flavors and techniques to India.
Mughal cuisine, our sources mention that. What's the story there?
Well, the Mughal Empire, which ruled India for centuries, had a huge impact on the food. They brought in Persian and Central Asian ingredients and cooking styles, really enriching Indian cuisine with new dimensions of flavor and extravagance.
Like what kind of ingredients? Give me some examples.
Imagine aromatic spices like saffron and cardamom, rich nuts like almonds and pistachios, creamy sauces with yogurt or cream. The Mughals were known for their lavish feasts and super elaborate dishes.
So those decadent, flavorful dishes we often associate with Indian fine dining, are those rooted in the Mughal era?
Exactly. Dishes like biryani, it's a layered rice dish with meat and fragrant spices, and korma, a rich curry with nuts and cream. Those are classic examples of Mughal influence. They really took Indian food to new levels of sophistication and complexity.
Wow, this is adding a whole new layer to my understanding of Indian food history. It's not just about the dishes themselves, but about all the influences that have shaped it over centuries.
And it's still evolving. The modern Indian food scene is super dynamic. Chefs are experimenting with fusion dishes, global ingredients, putting their own spin on traditional recipes. It's amazing.
Like this incredible tapestry, weaving together threads from different cultures and time periods.
A perfect analogy. And that tapestry keeps getting new threads, reflecting the ever-changing nature of Indian cuisine. But through all the innovation, one thing stays constant: the importance of hospitality.
Oh, that's so true. Our sources really emphasize that eating in India is often a communal experience, a celebration of sharing and togetherness.
Exactly. Hospitality is deeply rooted in Indian culture. Offering food is a way of showing love, respect, generosity. It's about creating a warm atmosphere where everyone feels welcome and connected.
It's not just the food itself, but the shared experience, those connections you build over a meal.
Precisely. It's about nourishing both body and soul. And this goes beyond just family and friends. In many Indian restaurants, the staff go above and beyond to make you feel welcome, ensure you have a great dining experience.
It's like being welcomed into their home, not just their restaurant.
That's such a lovely way to put it. And it's a key part of what makes Indian dining so special. It's about fostering that sense of community and making everyone feel like a valued guest.
Wow, this deep dive is really opening my eyes to the depth and complexity of Indian food culture. We've explored so much, from the nuances of spice to the importance of hospitality. But now I'm curious, what are some must-try dishes for someone just starting their journey with Indian food? Where should they begin?
That's the million-dollar question. It really depends on your taste, but I always recommend starting with some classics, dishes that really showcase the variety of Indian cuisine.
Okay, so let's say we're starting in South India. What's a dish that would wow a newbie? What's a must-try?
Dosa is always a great choice. It's this thin, crispy crepe made from fermented rice and lentil batter, usually served with sambar, a flavorful lentil stew, and a bunch of different chutneys. It's like a total explosion of textures and
Oh,
flavors.
I've had dosa before. It's so good.
Mm.
Light and delicate, but so flavorful. All right, now we're heading north. What's a good first taste of North Indian cuisine?
Butter chicken. You can't go wrong with butter chicken. It's creamy, tomato-based with tender chicken pieces. It's popular for a reason. Serve it with some fluffy naan, and you've got a little slice of North Indian heaven.
Okay, butter chicken is officially on my list. Now, I'm curious about something. We've talked about how diverse Indian food is, but are there any common threads, any underlying principles that connect it all together?
That's a great question. I'd say the key principle is balance. It's all about harmonizing the different flavors: sweet, sour, salty, spicy. And spices aren't just for heat, they're used for their medicinal properties, their aromas. It's a very holistic approach to flavor.
So it really is like a culinary symphony where each ingredient has a role to play in creating this harmonious whole.
Exactly. And that focus on balance extends to the structure of a meal, too. A traditional Indian thali, which is like a platter, features a variety of dishes: rice, bread, dal, veggies, curries, all offering different flavors and textures. It's all about creating a balanced and satisfying dining experience.
It's like a little microcosm of Indian cuisine itself, showcasing that diversity and harmony of flavors. It's amazing how much thought goes into these meals.
It really shows the deep respect for food and its role in nourishing us, both body and soul. We've only scratched the surface here, but I hope this deep dive has piqued your interest, made you want to explore more.
It definitely has. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of Indian food culture. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners who are ready to go on their own culinary adventures?
I'd say embrace the diversity. Don't be afraid to try new things, ask questions, explore different regional cuisines. Indian food is a journey of discovery. Every bite is a chance to experience the richness and complexity of this amazing culinary tradition.
Love that. And remember, eating with your hands is encouraged. It's the best way to really connect with the flavors and textures. This deep dive has been a true feast for the senses, and I'm feeling so inspired to explore the world of Indian food with a whole new appreciation and curiosity.
That's fantastic to hear. Remember, there's always more to learn, more flavors to savor, more stories to uncover. Indian food is such a vibrant tapestry, woven with history, culture, and a deep love for the art of cooking.
Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of Indian food culture. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive. Until next time, happy eating, everyone.